Hi everybody, this is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations. I am going to share this tutorial with you. We're going to do a full walkthrough and then I will show you how I put this all together. This is a great recipe album that I created using Roll With It by Cartabella. This is something that I bought from Country Craft Creations back in the summer, and I finally have been able to get this book together for you, so I thought I would do this extra bonus design team project for you. I think it turned out really cool, and we'll get started with going through the walkthrough, and then we'll dive right into the tutorial. So thanks for watching, and let's get started. So again, I'm using Roll With It by Cartabella. It's a great paper collection. I did get one package of this paper, and then I also did purchase the Roll With It Coordinating Solids paper pack. So again, I did buy this a little while ago, and I apologize for not getting it, done faster. But I finally did use it. Now, I just have scraps left over. I ended up using all of the papers from this collection and this collection too. So I just have a few scraps left over. Then what I decided to do was kind of go through my Country Craft Creations stash of leftovers from previous design team projects or other things that I had purchased. I did have some Prima flowers here that I used that were from my previous design team package, my latest one that I did, and I had 3 flowers left over, so I did use that for that. Another previous purchase that I had from Country Craft Creations was the 49 and Market flowers, which obviously I used all the flowers, but I did use the leaves that I had left over in this particular package as well. I had some twine from Country Craft Creations that I did purchase, so I used those with the buttons. And these buttons are by Country Craft Creations as well. They were a package of brown assorted buttons that I had that I thought would look really good with this collection. So I did use a couple of those throughout. I also had purchased these Prima ribbons in Full Bloom, and they came in a package of 5 spools, and I used 4 of the 5 in this package. I just thought the colors matched really perfectly with this. So again, I used those. That's something I did purchase. And then another thing that I did have was the 49 and Market lacy trims, and I used some of this lace trim here on the front cover of this, and I'll go through that as well. I used heavyweight chipboard for the base, and I also used black artisan cardstock for the base of the album and the base of the pages, and then I supplemented with some vellum green apple. This is artisan cardstock that's 8.5 by 11, and I did purchase that as well. So I did supplement with a couple sheets of this, and then I also did use the artisan vellum lemonade paper. This is also 8.5 by 11, so I did use a few sheets of that as well. So that's kind of the supplies that I use. So let's get going with the album itself. It is a fairly large album because I really wanted it to be full of room for recipes and for memories. So it measures 7 3/4 wide, 8.5 tall, and then the spine is 3.5. So it is a hefty album. It does have 6 really loaded pages and then 2 pockets on the inside. So on the cover, and again, I will talk about this during the tutorial on how I did the matting for this with the coordinated paper and the pattern paper. And then I did talk about how I added the lace here. I added the flowers and the leaves, like I said, and then I took some of the buttons and I did the twine through the buttons. And this is the Prima ribbon that I used for the closure. So I used that. I did use some foam tape as well to pop this up. This is one of the cut aparts from the collection. I just backed it on a little bit of artisan cardstock. It says Baking Queen. On the spine, I was kind of going back and forth what I should do with the spine, and I just decided to use this sticker that says baking with you fills my heart with lots of joy. And I just thought that was really just a nice way of covering or putting a little embellishment on the spine. So if it does sit on my bookshelf, then I know it's my baking book. And then on the back here, the papers mimic the front. I did cut out the branding strip that says Roll With It and made a pennant out of it, and then added another button with some twine there. So that's what I did with the back cover. Now to open this up, you just simply untie it, and I did it so that you could tie the bow more to the front instead of on the end, so it added a little bit more decoration to the front. So I did put that underneath the cover element here. Then when you open it up, what you're going to have is an accordion pocket on the front with a smaller pocket here. The accordion pocket is fairly big, and I did use a piece of the, I wanted to use the recipe page from the 12 by 12, so I did kind of strategically cut this apart. There was a top part, a recipe up here, and you'll see that it's in one of the pockets further, but I just trimmed that down and inked the edges and put that in here as a kind of a starter page to put in there. And then in this pocket here, I did have the 6x6 paper pad, and I always forget to tell you that. I did buy the 6x6 paper pad as well, and I used quite a bit of that. This was one of the pages, so I just cut it in half, trimmed it to 6x3, and then made a tag shape with some of the green apple paper. And then these are 2 pieces from the cut apart collection. I just used the twine to tie through that. So cute little decoration there. I added another button here with another piece of twine tied through it, and then just glued those down there on the front pocket. And then what we have are 6 pages, and they repeat. So you have 3 sets of the same page that, or the same 2 pages that repeat. So you have 3 sets. So I made, for the tutorial, 2 sets of those, and I showed you how to make the 3rd set because they're all made the same. So they all have cut aparts that keep the gatefolds closed. So I use the 6x6 paper on there, and then this is one of the cut aparts from the 12x12 paper. So you could leave this plain if you wanted to. You can put a recipe on the back, whatever. This one is 4x6. This one is a little over 4x4. And then you have the corner pockets here, and then it opens up. You have lots of space for pictures. You have lots of space. You could tuck a recipe card under there and some more space here. So you could actually, like, I used one of the little die cut tags that I did buy and just put that in there so you could tuck something in there and close it up. So it just has a nice kind of folio feel. And then again, I used the green apple here. So you could do photo mats and all kinds of stuff. I was envisioning this album as being, you know, like a memory keeper and a recipe keeper. So it has lots of room for both pictures and for recipes. So I did a stacked waterfall on the back of those gatefold pages. And again, this is just really simple. And I left these plain so you could do pictures and or recipes. And I thought it would be fun to do, like, you know, a picture here and then the recipe here, or vice versa. You know, or you can do just all pictures, all recipes, whatever you wanted. And there's a nice space back here as well. And then this just ties with one of the pieces of ribbon from that Prima pack. So I did use, again, 4 of those 5 spools in this collection. And then I had a little bit left over, so I did use those throughout with tags. So then you have this page here. So the second page of the set is a big pocket page. So it has a pocket here and here. On the back, it repeats, but then it also has a big pocket in here, so you can tuck lots of things in there. So I did add one of the cut aparts, and then this is one of the little die cut ephemera pieces that I just thread a little piece of that ribbon that I had left over through and tied twine through it, and then just left that. Now I like the back of this because it gave you some lines. You could do journaling there, or you could even write a small recipe. And then this is the back of that as well. And on the top page, there were some kind of sales sheets, and I just trimmed those out and put them on some of the lemonade cardstock, and I thought that was a pretty cool way to do a journal card. And then I got to thinking about it because I did not get the recipe cards, but you can make your recipe cards, and I ended up using the stickers to decorate recipe cards. So I did get some that were 4x6. These are just index cards that I had in my stash, and then I used the stickers to decorate them. So we have some 5x8 ones here and then some 4x6 here, and they just fit in the pockets just perfectly and make a nice addition. So you don't have to have, if you can't find them or don't have recipe cards, you can make your own. Just go and get some index cards and you can make your own. So I did that kind of throughout with using the stickers. So that's how I used up a lot of the stickers. This pocket here has some 4x4 cut aparts. Whoops. And then I just went ahead and left those plain on the back. You could put pictures or whatnot, do some journaling however you want. And then I made some more recipe cards, again using the stickers here and here. So each page has 3 large ones and 3 small recipe cards, and then they have some a variety of cut aparts in the pockets. Okay, then it repeats. So this one here This is part of the 6x6 pad. And like I was telling you, the 12x12 paper had these pieces here, and that's what I cut out to make those journal cards. So there's that. And then I'm going to show you how to do this. I did it only on one pocket. So I did it on the middle section because quite frankly, I forgot. So we're going to have just a little bit of variety here, but I'll show you how to do that in case you want to do it to all the pockets. And then this one opens up. Again, more spots for photos, and this will pop up so you can tuck a photo under there, tuck recipe cards here. I glued that little ephemera piece over top of a piece of twine just to decorate that a little bit because it was a tag piece from the ephemera pack. And then that just closes up like so. And then on the back, we have another waterfall. Okay, so again, kept it all plain. And then the space underneath you can do things with. All of the waterfalls, I did just put pattern paper on the spines. And I did cut those at 3/8 inch wide by 5 7/8 because each page is 4 by 6. And then you have another pocket page. So again, I created a little tag with this beautiful ribbon, another cut apart, and then we have more recipe cards made with the stickers. Okay, so those tuck in here. And then we have, in this big pocket, we have another one of those cut aparts that I backed on the lemonade, and then another recipe card here. So that is a fun way of being able to create your own recipe cards using your stickers. I've done that before and it works really great. And honestly, I was like not really sure what I was going to do with my stickers. And then I went ahead and, you know, remembered about that little trick. So I thought I would show you that. On the back here, again, we've got more recipe cards. So there's that one and that one. And then we have... those are the two big ones in here. And then in this pocket, we have cut apart. And then these two were cut off the top of the pages from here. So this one actually went like that. And I just cut it off and then created a single card and then a page. So that's where that came from. And then this one is from the one on the back page that I just cut the top off of. So I'll show you that in just a second. Here's another recipe card and then those cut apart. So those just kind of tuck into there. Okay, last page set. This is one we made on the tutorial that you'll see next. And again, just some journal cards to help keep the doors shut. And you can, of course, tuck way more stuff in here. You could put recipe cards in the door. Just lots of room for things. Now, also, this is pretty cool. And I forgot to put this in the tutorial. So what I'm going to do is talk you through this with some pictures right now. But this actually came from a frame that was in the frame pack. Let me see. Where is that frame pack? I know I have it. Here it is. Okay, so this is the frames and tags pack that I got with Roll With It. Let me take this out so you won't have the glare. So I took this frame, which was right here. It was around another die cut piece that I used elsewhere. And it was the Happiness is Homemade one here. So this was attached into here. You know how they do that. So I'm going to show you in some pictures after I talk you through it what I did. But what I did from each corner, I measured in 1.25 inches and 1.25 inches up. And then I cut the corners off matching those tick marks. And then I just inked it. And that created 4 photo corners that I thought was kind of pretty and decorated the page and kind of gave it a little more color. So that's how I did it. So I'm going to show you some pictures right now just to kind of demonstrate that process. And I thought that was kind of a fun way of using these frames because a lot of times, honestly, I don't use them because I'm not sure what to do with them. And then I had that idea. So that's how I made those. And I'm probably going to use that technique more often now that I've kind of figured that out. I think it would look good on, you know, photo mats and things like that. But it just gave that page kind of a pop. The last page here is the waterfall here, or the back of this page, I should say. It's not the last page. We have one more. So again, another waterfall, and I just used this top part of that recipe paper from the 6x6 pad for that. And then again, did this. Now I did use the same paper. One piece of the 6x6 covered all of the spines for all of my waterfalls. So again, they were measured at 5 7/8 by 3/8 to cover the 1/2 inch spines there. And then I use a little die cut here. And that just ties up, and you can see the beautiful colors in the Prima ribbon. It just matched perfectly with this paper collection. I just thought it was so pretty. And then here's the last page, the last pocket page. And again, these pocket pages have 2 on the front, 2 on the back, and then the pocket pages themselves to have pockets. These do not have pockets because I built so much onto them. This one here are the tags that go in there, and then I made the 2 recipe cards, the 2 smaller ones with the stickers. Just a really nice way to jazz those up, right? And then in here, we have another one of the cut-aparts, and then the sticker here, or the recipe card here with the sticker. I like her. She's pretty. So that tucks into here, and then behind here, we have the 2 big recipe cards here. And then we have some cut-aparts here. Okay, and then another small recipe card there. So you could actually, I mean, I just did 3 for each page, but it definitely could hold more. And then here is that other piece of that 12 by 12 paper that I just trimmed off the top, and then I use this as a kind of an insert here. And then again, here are the pockets. I use the conversion little tag that came from this for here because, you know, every cookbook has to have a conversion table, and I just love that. And then here are the tags that I put in for that back pocket. So that is my walkthrough for this album, and we're going to get started with the tutorial right now. So I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get started. Hi everybody, this is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations. I have a bonus design team project for you. This is something that I've been meaning to do for a while, and I'm finally getting time to actually work on this project, trying to get it done before my next design team package comes for November. So this is a package that I bought earlier this year in the summer, called Roll With It by Cardstock, and it's a super cute collection, and it's a baking themed collection. I really like it. You guys know me and my cookbooks. I really like cookbooks. So I decided to play with this, and I've got a tutorial for you, so I hope you like it. I did dig through a lot of my Country Craft Creations stuff that I have, either leftovers from design team packages or stuff that I have bought, so I will hopefully have links to the supplies that I'm using for you down below. And if I can't find them in the store, I'm sorry, they are probably sold out because this was a while ago. But that all being said, go through your stash because there's lots of things that will work with this project, and you can, you know, you don't even have to do everything that I did with mine as far as decorations and stuff. So that all being said, again, this is Roll With It by Cardstock. And I really liked it. So I did get the package. So it had 12 papers in it and stickers. And then I also purchased the Coordinating Solids paper pack. So this had 6 pages in it as well. I have 1 sheet of the pattern paper left over and then some scraps. And that's pretty much all I have. So I have tried to use up everything. Now the other thing that I did do, I had bought the Lemonade 8.5 by 11 vellum paper, the artisan cardstock, that's 65 pounds from Country Craft Creations. I did have that in my stash, and I put it aside because I knew it would work with this paper collection. But then also recently I had bought the green apple vellum paper, and it matches the paper collection perfectly too. So I did use some of these as well, and I will try to figure out a tally for you and have that down below in the descriptions. But I did use, again, some of the vellum green apple artisan cardstock and the lemonade as well. I did use black artisan cardstock for the base pages and for the album covers. And then I also used heavyweight chipboard with this. So this is a big album. It has a 3.5-inch spine because I made 6 pages for this. And then I also, let me get my ruler out here. I want to make sure I tell you the right dimensions here. This album is, the covers are 7 3/4 by 8.5. So it's a pretty goodly size album. It's going to hold a lot of memories and a lot of recipes. And I have some things clipped here. We'll go over all of this and I'm going to show you how to make things. This album kind of, the pages repeat themselves. So I have 6 pages and there's 2 different kinds of pages that I made. So we're going to make 3 sets of those. I have 2 sets made and we'll do the 3rd one together. But here is my album and I do want to talk to you about how I made the album. So this is the lay flat method that I used. So we'll ignore that for a minute. The lay flat method for making my album cover, and I do have a tutorial where I show you exactly how to make this, and I will link that down below if you're not familiar with it, but it's a great way to cover your pages. So for that, that's the wrong paper. Let me see. There it is. Found it. So here, I got my notes here. So the lay flat method, so I did use 2 pieces of heavyweight chipboard that were 7 3/4 by 8.5, and then I used 1 piece for the spine that's 3.5 by 8.5. And then the cardstock to cover everything is, you need 2 pieces of the black artisan cardstock that's 9 3/4 by 10.5. 1 piece for the outside spine that is 6.5 by 10.5, and then I used a piece that was 6.5 by 8 3/8, and that one will cover the inside spine. So you can see some of it here because I've covered some of the inside of the album already. Because like I said, this album does repeat. So after you get all of that done, then I went to decorating my covers, my outside covers. Now this green is some of that coordinating solid paper that goes with the collection. And so I did use a couple pieces of that. I used 2 pieces for the front and the back covers that were 7.5 by 8 1/4. And then the piece for the spine I cut at 3 3/8 by 8 1/4. So that's covering here. Now I haven't decided if I'm going to put anything more on the spine or if I'm just going to decorate it on top of the green. I haven't decided yet. I kind of wanted to see what pattern papers I had left over. So then I needed to cut my pattern papers. Now remember, I only had 12 sheets and some of those sheets were the cut apart. So I wanted to try to maximize the use. So what I ended up doing was taking this red check pattern here and I cut it at 2 pieces that were 6 by 8. So they're 6 wide. They only go to about here, and then they're 8 tall. I did use my corner punch, the scallop corner punch in the corners, just to give that little extra green in the corner there. And then I laid that down. And then this piece here, there's one actually underneath here. I didn't glue this down all the way just to show you. To cover up the rest of that space was from that 4-inch piece from the bottom. So I cut 2 pieces here that were 2 by 8. And then I did use my favorite scallop punch. And again, the scallop punch is something that I've had in my stash forever. And it's by EK Success. I don't even know what the name of it was. And I don't know if it's available or not. But this is the one that I did use. You can use any edge punch that you want. I also wanted to let you know that I did ink all of my papers because they are pretty distressed as they are. So I wanted to kind of go on that as well. So the Altenew Espresso ink, I did get this in one of my previous design team packages. I use that as distress ink. It works great. I love it. I love it. So that I did use as well. So let's see. So I did that. So this again is the opposite side of this paper here. And I took it off the bottom 4-inch piece that was left over. That's where I got that from. And then I had this lace that I had in my stash that I did buy from Country Craft Creations a while ago. It's by 49 in Market. And it was really a beautiful lace. I did use the middle lace here, but this is what it looks like. And before I glued the whole piece down, I just wrapped it around the green paper and then secured it underneath that. And that's how I just decorated that. I just wanted that little pop of lace on the front cover. So I did use that. The next thing that I did was I also used the Prima ribbons in Full Bloom, and those, I did them a little bit different. So on the back cover, I did it underneath the green for the closure. And then on the front cover, I did it under the front cover element here. And this, let me find the package for that. This is by Prima. I did purchase this as well. It's called In Full Bloom, and it's called Ribbons. And it had 5 colors, and they come on spools like this, and I used 4 of the colors so far. This is the last one that I have left. They're about a yard per color, and it worked perfectly for all of what I did. So I used 4 of the 5 of these for this package, or for this design team project. So this here is one of the elements that was a cut apart piece, and I did when you cut it out, it had a, a border, so I just cut the white border off of it, and it trimmed down to 2 7/8 by 4 1/4. So then I used a piece of black cardstock behind it that I cut at 3 1/8 by 4 1/2, and that gave a nice an 1/8 inch border around that. And I did pop it up on foam tape, and the foam tape that I did use is this foam tape here. And I did get it a long time ago through Country Craft Creations. So I will see if it's still available for that. But I did pop it up. So there's a little bit of dimension with that. And then I put the rest of this ribbon from Prima underneath that, so that when I tie the bow, it's more on the front as part of the decoration. Now, the other part of the decoration that I'm going to be playing with is from my last design team package, I had 3 of these Prima flowers left over, and they're a beautiful red color. So I wanted to use those. So I'm going to put those down. And then I'm probably going to do it in this lower corner here. And then I've got a couple of these buttons and some twine from Country Craft Creations, because I told you guys I went through my stash of stuff that I have and I tried to use it. Now, these buttons were also Country Craft Creations buttons, and I just picked a couple of those out, so I will link those down below as well. They have lots of great packages, and they have tons of buttons, so I might be able to use some more too, but I just got 2 ready to go because I thought those would be cute, kind of clustered with the roses. And then I used my natural colored twine to tie bows in there, because I wanted a little bit of that too. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. You guys have already seen a walkthrough, so you can see that. The other thing that I am going to use was these leftover that I got from Country Craft Creations, and I used all the flowers, but I still had some of the leaves, so I'm going to incorporate those as well. Let's see, what else? I think right now that's it. So that is the cover. Okay, so we talked about, let's see, let me get my notes in order here. We talked about we use the lay flat method, and here are the measurements for that. And I will have a bunch of information down in the description for you. We talked about the pattern paper. So that's because I only had 1 sheet of each pattern. That's how I was able to use it for both the front and back cover and keep kind of the continuity of this. So we talked about that, the cut apart, and then let's talk about the inside of the cover. That's the next thing we need to talk about. So let me turn this over. And on the inside of the cover, I have cut my paper. So I have pattern paper here, but it's actually the coordinating solid papers that come with the, or that I bought separate. So I use that. 2 pieces that were 6 by 8 3/8, and those go on the front inside and the front, the back inside cover. And then the inside spine here, again, 3 3/8 by 8 3/8. And I did, of course, ink everything. I told you that. And then we're going to make pockets. So I'm going to do the same pocket assembly here on the back that I did on the front here. So we've got a nice accordion pocket, just a real simple accordion pocket. And then we have a nice pocket on the front of that as well, because I really want you to be able to put your recipes in here, to put pictures in here, have enough room for all of that. And that's why I've tried to keep things so where you can really put some good amount of stuff in here. You could put printouts, 8.5 by 11, fold them in half, and you can put them in here so they will fit. So let's talk about the pockets. So for the accordion pocket, you will need 2 pieces. that are 5.5 by 11.5. And then you will need a piece for the smaller pocket, 2 of those that are 5.25 by 4. And again, one set will be here and one set will be here. Now the pattern paper that I did cut, I used the brown coordinating solid paper. You'll need 2 of those that are 4 7/8 by 8 3/8. Then I use this pattern paper here, and you're going to see the pockets will be using these same papers, but they'll be opposite because I used scraps left over from making the pages to do these pockets. But they still will kind of match because I'm using the same papers, and that'll make sense in just a second. So you will need, again, these here, the pattern paper for the bigger pocket is 4 5/8 by 8 1/8. And then for the smaller pocket, you will need 2 pieces of pattern paper that are 4 1/8 by 3 3/8. And then I'm going to show you how to do all this and how to punch those notches as well. Okay, so I'm going to put this off to the side. And I've already pre-inked my paper, so I'm good with that. Let me put this off to the side over here, and then let's grab the big piece that's the pocket here. This is the accordion pocket. And again, this piece is 5.5 by 11.5. And what you're going to do is put it in your scoreboard with the 11.5 at the top. And we're going to score it at half, at 1.5. Move over and score at 10 and 11. And then before you do anything else, I want you to take this whole piece and flip it over and then go back and score at 1 and at 10.5. And that will make your scores go in the proper directions to make the accordion, okay? So then turn it back over. So this is where we started. And then on one side, you just flip it over on the 5.5, and I'm going to just score that at 5. So that's going to make a 5 by 8.5 tall pocket, okay? While we have our scoreboard out, let's go ahead and score the little pocket. So the little pocket is 5 1/4 by 4. With the 5 1/4 at the top, we're going to score at half, at 4 3/4, and then turn it, and I'm going to score at 3.5. And that just basically makes the 3 1/2-inch scores all the way around to make the pocket. So we'll get this out of the way, and we'll get our scissors, and we'll do a little bit of trimming here. So for the little pocket, we're just going to miter all 3 sides. Okay, so we're just going to do that. I'm going to cut sharply through the corner here. And then for this one here, we're going to miter just on the short side here. We're going to miter just the outside 1/2 inch. Okay, so leave the other 2 intact so they have a nice straight edge for the edge of your pocket. So we're just going to cut that miter on the outer 1/2 inch. And then down here below, you're going to have 3 squares here. We're going to cut those out. So what I'm going to do is kind of a slight miter through all 3 scores here. And then I'm going to just cut straight. I'm going to cut that score line out, okay? So you'll end up with a piece like that. All right, so I'm cutting that score out just up to that score, and then I'm just going to do kind of a slight miter here. All right, so that's done. Put our scissors away, get this out of the way, and then we shall fold our score lines. So when you make an accordion, if you do your score lines the opposite way, what will happen is that you're almost every single time your scores will match up perfectly, and you won't have to do any fiddling around. And then your scores are going to be in the same direction that you need them to go in. And it just makes it a lot easier rather than scoring on the same side, all of the scores, and then trying to fight it. One of the reasons why we do the scores is to make sure that everything goes in the direction that we need it to go, right? So you want to do that. It also does help if, you know, your paper not to rip and all that stuff, which honestly, never had a problem with artisan cardstock doing that, but that is an important thing. I did do a rosette tutorial, and I talk extensively about score lines and how to do that, okay? So then while we're at it here, let me move this over. I'm going to grab my glue and a couple little clips. And what we're going to do is just glue that bottom up, and we're going to clip it and let it sit. So I'm just going to fold that score line in, and we're just going to glue that bottom piece over. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here. And then I'm going to fold that over. And I didn't get a little spongy. So let's get that little spongy out here. Wipe up my excess glue. And then I'm just going to clip that. We're going to let that dry while we fiddle with the other pocket. Okay. So I'm going to, again, just put a little bit of glue in that corner where that's going to fold over. And then I'm just going to clip it and we'll let it sit and dry. Okay, so that's our accordion pocket right there. Our little pocket here, we're going to go ahead and fold that over and we're going to burnish. Okay. All of our score lines here. Okay, so here's our pocket. Now, I also have my pattern paper ready to put on top. And I do have, I know I wrote a note. I'm pretty sure I wrote a note. I swear I wrote a note. What did I do with it? That's weird. Okay. Well, the note I wrote is gone. So I will just do it again. All right. So I'm going to get out my scoreboard here. This is my envelope scoreboard, and we're going to use the notch punch for the pocket. Now, this pocket measures 4 1/4 with the sides folded in, okay? So the actual pocket is 4 1/4. So if you look at the middle of it, it will be at 2 1/8. So that's where you're going to want to line up the edge on the ruler of your scoreboard. So I'm going to put this in here and line it up so it's 2 1/8, and that means that that notch will punch right in the middle, and I'm going to punch that. And that is all we have to do with that. Now this one is cut a little bit smaller. This one is 4 1/8. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put this about 1/16 of an inch past 2 inches. So I'm going to line this up. So right in between 2 and 2 1/8, that's where I'm going to line up the edge of my pattern paper. And then that'll be the center. So 2 1/16, which is right in between again, between 2 and 1 1/8. And I'm going to punch that. And then we're done with that. Okay. Then I will need to take my ink and re-ink that little edge because I want to match everything. Okay. And we can go ahead and glue this on my pocket while we're thinking about it. I'm just going to put the glue on there. And now go right on top of the pocket, and that notch should line up and be matted perfectly with that pocket. It looks like I did pretty good this time. So that's good because I don't have much pattern paper left over. Now, remember what I told you about about the papers being opposite? So I had a strip of this green paper, and that is where I had it left over, and that's where I got this panel and then this pocket. So as you can guess, this paper here is going to be on top of the accordion pocket on that other side. So we'll put that off to the side. The big pocket should be ready to go now, the accordion pocket. And I have my pattern papers. So for this one, I've got the brown that's going to go on top of the pocket. All right, so if we look at our pocket, it's going to open to the inside of the book, so that'll go on the top there, and then this piece will go on top here, and then this pocket is going to go right on top of here. Okay, so we can go ahead and I can glue these down right now. We'll just get that done. So the first thing I'm going to do, and so again, this is just basically the same thing that I did on the front cover. We just repeated it. You guys know me and my symmetry. I like my symmetry. I'm weird like that, I guess, huh? Everything has to match. Everything has to match. It has to be symmetrical. It has to be in continuity. All right, so then this pocket here, what I'm going to do is put it down the center, and I'm going to have about 1/4 of an inch on all sides to glue that down. Okay, so that's going to be the pocket. Now, I'm going to first glue this bottom piece because I am going to use the tape trick to cover it so that my tags and things don't get messed up. And I'm just going to eyeball this and put that down and just make sure that it matches. Okay. And press that down. Wipe up my extra glue, and then I'm going to grab my tape wherever I cleverly hid that for myself. And I found my little rag that I thought I had out, which I did. All right, so I'm going to use my little clear tape, put that over the top of that, and then that way any tag or anything that I want to stick in here won't get hung up on that. And then I can take my glue and I can go ahead and glue that up. Okay, so I just put glue on those tabs and then I can just fold that up. All right. And that will be my pocket. Okay, so then I can just go ahead and glue that right on top of my accordion pocket. Just make sure that you have your accordion piece where you want it. Okay, so because it's going to go, again, this one opens up this way. This one is going to open up this way. Okay, so towards the inside of the book. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue that down, making sure my direction is right. So I hope you all had a good Halloween. We had a really good Halloween. We thought we weren't going to get any trick-or-treaters because we had our typical Oregon rain. And we did not get little kids, but we did get a lot of teenagers. And they dressed up, and they were polite, and they said trick-or-treat, and they said thank you, and they loved our decorations. So we really had a good time, and we, like I said, we kind of tied our record at this house. We got 18 kids, which was pretty darn good because I figured we weren't going to get any with the weather the way it was. But those teenagers, they went ahead and they braved it. Okay, so now what we need to do is put this in the book, and what we're going to do is I want to use some tape to make sure, again, the tags and things that I put in here do not get caught up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little piece of tape right here because we're going to glue the pocket on, and then this will go underneath the pocket, but we are going to have a gap here, and this part right here is where some things could get stuck. So what I'm going to do is try to preempt any problems and put some tape here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here, just right over that edge. Okay, I'm going to take that out of the way for just a second. And then that will help make sure that nothing gets caught up when I'm trying to put stuff in the pockets, because I'm not going to cover this little piece, it's going to show. And then on here, what I want to do is put a little piece of tape on this bottom edge here. So I'm going to take a piece here and I'm going to put it sticky side up. I'm just going to tease it under there and push that down, and then that will help make sure that my stuff doesn't get caught up, okay? And then I can glue the whole thing down. Now, if you want to, you could glue this bottom, before you glue the sides up, you could just glue the bottom and then, glue this. I hope that makes sense, but glue the sides up. You could do it that way if it's easier for you. I just like doing it like this on my accordion pockets. And then this will go completely to the edge of the cover. Okay, so to the edge on the side, top and bottom. And then I'm going to burnish that down and try to make sure everything gets stuck the way it's supposed to. And then I'm going to turn it so I can see it here. And I'm going to try and go underneath. I'm going to actually use my hand so I can feel it and make sure that tape is pushed down. Okay? And then you can go in with your bone folder and kind of push that down too. Okay? All right. Then this red piece, what that's going to do is it's going to slide over those tabs, and we'll glue that down, and then that will complete our book. Okay, complete the inside cover. So we're going to, I like to line that up underneath the pocket. I don't need glue under the pocket. The pocket will keep it together. All right, and then I'm just going to put my glue down. Okay, so there is my cover. So now the inside looks like that, so you can see where the opposites are, okay? That's what I wanted to take care of. All right, so then the next thing what we're going to do is work on those pages. Now, I did tell you that I've already made a couple, and I'll show them to you really quick, and we will put them in the book together. So we have 2 different types of pages. We're going to make 3 sets out of it. So the first page here, and then these will alternate, has a gatefold with these little pockets. And I did use, and you'll see that they're not as tall as the page. And that's because when I made the page, then I went back and I looked at my scraps and I thought, well, that would actually be kind of cute because you can kind of see some stuff peeking underneath. So the actual gatefold pages are not as tall as the page, and it's meant to be that way. They have the diagonal pockets, and then in this, I'm using the 4x4 cut aparts on a piece of black artisan cardstock. And then I also did cut a piece that is 4x6 with some of the pattern paper. Now, oh, I was going to tell you, I did use, I had some 6x6 paper too. So I don't have much of that left either, but I did have that too. I forgot to tell you that. So I did use some of that as well. And that's where some of this paper does come from. But anyways, so those are going to keep that closed, and then that'll open, and then these will open. Okay. So my thoughts were, since, you know, it is a memory recipe album, that there's lots of spots for pictures. There's also lots of spots where you can actually glue a recipe card on here or whatever, but you could also put recipe cards in there and then, you know, close it up and keep them nice and safe. So lots of different options with this, and obviously I haven't really decorated anything yet, but that's what that page is going to do. And then on the other side, we got a waterfall, and this is my standard stacked waterfall, and I did it so that you could put, you know, your recipe cards on here, or you could put photographs, or you could put a photograph and then the recipe here, however you wanted to do that. Okay, so again, not quite done with all of this yet, but this is where I use some of the green apple artisan vellum cardstock, and then this is where I used one of the spools of the Prima ribbon here as well. Okay, so this is the first page. All right, I love that ribbon. I just think it's so pretty. I did cover the front piece with a piece of this 6x6 pattern paper, and then this is one of the cut aparts from the 12x12 paper pack. Okay, they didn't have 4x6 cut aparts in this, so we had to do it. So then the other thing was just a real simple pocket page, but it has a pocket here, it has a pocket here. You turn it over, same thing, pocket, pocket, but it also has a pocket here. So you have a lot of room to tuck printouts, to tuck pictures, to tuck recipe cards, all that stuff. So you're going to have that page and then a pocket page, and then we'll have a repeat. So I'll go through this with you really quick. This was cut out of the 6x6 paper pad. Okay, this opens up. Now this one here, okay, so you're going to love this. So when I was doing getting everything prepped, I did go ahead and punch the center of this with my envelope punch. And then I totally forgot to do it here. So what I ended up doing was we're not going to punch the third set of pages to make it match. So the middle set of pages will have this, but the other ones won't. And because I just totally spaced and didn't do it. So what I'll kind of talk you through it when we get to that, but you can just use your envelope punch, and just like we did a pocket, you're just going to punch the diagonal of those little pockets and then just do that, and then that decorates it. And I think it looks pretty cool. So then this one opens up, and then it opens up like this. Okay, so same thing. And then you turn it over, and then here's the waterfall here, and it says fresh eggs. And this is one of the cut aparts, and then the 6x6 paper. And then again, we have our ribbon here. All right, so that is that. These go in here to keep it closed. And then the other page, the next page. So again, pocket, pocket. Oh, there's that note I was looking for. Somehow it got in there. All right. And then pocket, pocket, and then the middle has a nice big pocket too. So lots of room to put your things. All right, so let's talk pages. Let's go ahead and make what I'm calling the main page. Okay, so the main page has all of the flaps and flips and everything. There's a lot going on here. So that's one of the reasons why I made the other one kind of more simple with the pockets. Okay, so I do have some things ready to go, and we will get started. Let me kind of separate some stuff out here, and here we go. All right, so I'm going to put that off to the side. We'll put this is going to go in the back. All right, so the main page basically has a base that is 7 3/4 by 8. Now you'll need a total of 3 of those to make the 3 main pages. This is the one, again, that has the gatefolds and all the flips and flaps. You will need 6 total of pieces that are 4 by 7 3/4, 6 total that are 6 and 4 by 4.5. Those are all artisan cardstock pieces, okay? The mats for the pages, you will need 2 of those, and this is where I used the vellum artisan cardstock. So this one is lemonade, this one is green apple. Oh, I'll talk about that little piece in a minute. You will need 2 of those, and I cut these at 6 7/8 by 7 7/8. Okay, and that will go down on the page after we put our flips and our flaps. Okay. For the mats, let's see, how did I do this? Oh, I missed some. The mats, that's what I was talking about. Where'd they go? They are here. The mats to close the page, that's what I'm talking about here. You need one that's 4 by 6 and one that's 4 by 4, and these are what is going to go into the pocket and close your page. And then this 4 by 4, these are the corner pockets that we're going to make. Okay, so you need 3 pieces that are 4 by 4. So I hope that makes sense. So again, the base page is 7 3/4 by 8. The long gatefold pages are 4 by 7 3/4. Then you have the 2 inside top and bottom flaps that are 6 by 4.5. We have the mats, 4 by 6 and 4 by 4, and then you need a 4 by 4 piece to make those corner pockets. All right, so let's talk pages. Let's grab our scoreboard. Let's do some scoring here. We're going to put this in our scoreboard with the 7 3/4 at the top, and we're going to score at 1/2 and at 3/4. And this is going to be the L page hinge. The L hinge that I like to do. So that's all you need to do for the page. All right. Then what we're going to do is take our 2 pieces that are 4 by 7 3/4. We're just going to put them in with the 4 at the top, excuse me, and score at 1/2. You're going to do both of those just like that. The 2 pieces that are 6 by 4.5 with the 4.5 at the top, we'll score at 1/2. Okay, both of those pieces the same. And then the last thing is our little 4 by 4 that we're going to make the pockets out of. So you're going to take and score this at 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. So I did it at 1/2 and at 3.5, and then I turned it and did it at 1/2 and 3.5. Okay, that's all you need to do. Now, before we get any further, we'll just go ahead and prep this guy. We're going to need our cutter, and what you're going to do is, it has 1/2 inch all the way around on 4 sides. You're going to put it in your cutter at the diagonal, line those points up, and we're going to cut this into a triangle, into 2 triangles. Okay? And then you'll have 2 pieces like this. Okay, so now we're done cutting everything. We can go ahead and do our mitering and get that done. So on these corner pockets, all we're going to do is cut through the corners at the bottom real sharply here. Okay, so all the way through, like a 45-degree angle. Okay, and then we'll fold this over and burnish that down. And then what we're going to do is cut those nubbins off. Okay, so I'm just going to go in and cut it straight to make that triangle. And just cut that off. Okay, so that is your corner pocket. That's all you're going to do with that. So let's repeat that. Okay, and then just cut those off. Okay, so those are prepped. And then we'll get our pages. Now all of these pieces with the 1/2 inch, these are just flaps. We're just going to miter those edges. Okay, so we'll just go through and real quickly miter all of those 1/2 inch tabs. Okay, we are not going to miter the page though. We want to keep that straight because that glues to our album. Okay, so we're just mitering these flaps that we're going to add to it. Okay, leave this guy alone. All right, then after you do all that, then we'll go ahead and fold and burnish our pieces. And we'll add them to our page. Okay. All right, get that out of the way, grab our page. Now I'm going to fold and burnish those 2 score lines. So we had 1 1/2 inch, 1 at 3/4. The 1/2 inch will glue to the spine of our book. The 1/4 inch will be kind of a give space that will help us turn our pages nicely and go over all of the ads and everything that we have, and it'll help your pages lay flat. Okay, lay flatter, I should say. Okay, so these need to go to the edge of our book. And remember, they are a little shorter. The page itself is 8 inches. These pages here are 7 3/4. So you'll have about 1/8 of an inch top and bottom. Okay. And again, I did that because I used my scraps that I had from cutting my papers. And so that's how that ended up being the size. All right, so I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm going to put it right to the edge of that score line that is at 3/4. And about 1/8 of an inch up from the bottom. Okay. Wipe up my excess glue. Okay, so there's the first page. Now the second page, before I put it down, I'm just going to make sure I want it to meet the edge of the page, and I want it to glue to the edge of my base page. So I just want to make sure that I didn't cut them wrong, that they're not going to overlap, but they are going to meet together, and they do look like they're going to fit perfectly. So then I'm just going to grab the glue and then I'm just going to line those pages up and glue that down to the edge of the page. Okay, like that. Okay, so now that that's done, okay, then we're going to add our pages top and bottom. So these are now 4 by 6, and I'm just going to add glue and then center that top and bottom on the page. So I'm going to get my ruler here. My pages now are 7 inches across, not including the binding piece. Okay, so I'm going to have about 1/2 inch. Well, I am going to have 1/2 inch, not about 1/2 inch. It's 1/2 inch. So it should fit right in between, actually, the tabs that we just laid down on the page. Okay, they should fit right in between there. Okay, I'm just going to burnish that down. I'm going to turn it so I can see. I'm going to add the other page. And these should actually meet in the middle as well because the pages are 8 inches tall. And then I'm just going to make sure everything lines up. Okay. Like so. Make sure you open it, get that excess glue out of there because you do not want anything glued down where you don't want it, right? Okay. So that will go like that, will go like that, and close over. And then these little pockets are going to go right on top there, okay? Now, I told you I would talk to you about, I'm not going to punch these because these are going to be the third set of pages, and I don't want to, you know, punch these because then it'll be uneven and that would make me cranky. So, so these are 4 1/4. If you measure along this side, 4 1/4. So if you do want to punch that little divot in the corner pocket here, like I did that one, then what would you would do is put this in and line it up at 2 1/8 and punch that, okay? Then you would take the pattern paper for this, and we'll get to that in a second, but then you'll do another line it up and punch it, and then you will have a perfect matting for that, okay? So we'll talk about that when we get to the pattern paper. I'll get that back out and show you. But just line it up at 2 1/8 and then punch it, and you'll have that nice little thumb tab that'll give it a little bit extra decorative flair. Or pizzazz. I heard the word pizzazz today. I haven't heard that in a long time. I was like, that's a pretty cool little word. I like that. So now I'm just gluing this right on top of the gatefolds. Okay. Top and bottom. Or top and bottom. Bottom and side, I should have said. Okay, so I'm just lining it up to the side of the page. Here's my binding. I'm just going to fold that to the back. So that's where it is, right there. Okay, right on the edge, right on the bottom of that page. Now remember, that page is shorter on purpose. I'm going to put glue on the other one and do this other side. Okay, so that goes on the bottom there. Okay, so now we have our little gatefold pieces. All right, now the other thing that I did do was I did use my corner rounder punch that I love so much these days, my little scallop punch, and I'm gonna punch the pages here because I really like that look. You can do this before you add them. I'm always like the afterthought girl, and I'm like never like kind of pre-plan that. So it would be probably easier to do it before you do that. But anyways, I wanted that nice little decorative edge. Okay, so the front of that page is done. Okay, so now real quick, here was my plan. So as far as covering all of this, I have the big piece here. This is the Artisan Lemonade, and this is cut at 6 7/8 by 7 7/8. So it's a 1/8 of an inch smaller than the page it's covering. Okay, then we have you'll need 4 pieces total, 2 for the inside, 2 for the outside. So I chose solid cardstock, the solid coordinating cardstock. I cut it at 3 3/8 by 7 5/8. Okay, so one will go here, one will go here. All right, and then I have the 2 for the outside. I'm going to use the stripes for that. That'll be on the outside. All right, and then for the top and the bottom, these are 4 by 6. So I did cut 4 pieces that are 5 7/8 by 3 7/8. So I'm going to use the solid on the inside, and then I'm going to use the floral on the outside. Okay, so if you imagine all of this folded up, we've got flowers here. Okay, then this will go over the top. This will go over the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck that underneath there. Okay, and that'll be on the pages. And I won't glue them down on camera so you don't have to see that because that's a lot of gluing. But that's how that's going to look. Okay, so again, I'm going to take some actual paper clips. That's what I'll do. Okay, I can glue those on later, so it'll open up like that, and then we will have our flaps that will look like that. Okay, so There you go. That's how that's going to look, okay, before decoration, of course. Now, to cover these pockets, so what you're going to need to do is we're going to measure what that square would be, okay? So it would end up being 3 inches. When I cover a triangle, instead of going 1/8 inch down, I go 1/4 inch down. So since this would be 3 inches on the side here, I would cut a square of pattern paper that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and then cut that diagonal. And then when you do that, that's what's going to give you that nice mat for that pocket. Now, if you are going to cut that divot, you have to look at the diagonal here and figure out where the midline is, and that is just 1/16 inch below 2 inches. So you would grab your scoreboard and you would measure right in between 1 7/8 and 2 inches, and then that's where you would punch that divot to make the little middle notch punch, okay? So that's how you would do that. These are going to go right here. I'm just going to tuck those in the pockets right now, but that is the front of that base page. That's all there is to that, okay? So now we need to work on the back. Before you can add your waterfall, we do need to cover it with pattern paper or cardstock, whatever you guys want to use. So this is the green apple artisan cardstock. So we do need to lay that down and glue that down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up all this just because I want the paper clips out of my way. And the cardstock that I did put down, I did go ahead and ink that as well, but we do need to glue that down first. So again, this piece for both the other side and this side is 6 7/8 by 7 7/8. All right, so I'm just going to grab my glue. Because we do have to do, oh, shoot. I goofed up. Oh, doggone it. Okay, let's try this again. You guys, I am so sorry. We do need to do one thing real quick. This is the spool of ribbon that I wanted to use for this particular Waterfalls closure. So I'm going to take this off, and then I'm just going to cut it in half. Okay. And we need to put this down on the bottom. Okay. So hopefully I can do this kind of fast before the glue dries. But what I'm going to do is on the bottom of this back page, we're going to need to do that closure. Okay. So I'm going to put some score tape here real quick. And then right in the middle, I'm going to have to add more glue to that. Right in the middle of this page, if we line it up at 3 1/2, we're going to take one of those pieces of ribbon and I'm going to put it down. And this ribbon is kind of wide too. So for me, it lines up, it's about 1.5 inches wide-ish. So I line it up at about 3/4 inch on the other side of the 0 a little bit. Okay. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to take this little scrap piece of paper and I'm going to glue that right over the top of that and really secure that down so that it doesn't pull on pattern paper or that 65-pound artisan cardstock that I'm going to use. Okay, I really want to try and secure that. So it's just a little scrap of paper that's just going to give us a little bit extra stability to glue that down so that when we pull it up and tie it over that waterfall, it is going to be secure. Okay, so now I'm going to take and put more glue on this paper here because I goofed up. Okay, and we're going to lay that down. Okay, I hope that made sense. So yeah, you do need to put that particular ribbon down. Okay, so we have it secured underneath this artisan cardstock with a little extra edge of cardstock. And you can't see it. I mean, nobody is going to see that, but it is going to secure it, and it's going to help make sure that the ribbon doesn't pull on any pattern paper or anything. It's actually secured with that cardstock. I hope that made sense. Let's close it up, and then you'll be able to see it for sure. Okay, so I'll put everything back together. This is the first side. pink paper that's going to go here. Okay, so it'll fold up like this, and then it'll fold like that and like that, okay? And you'll have your cards in here that'll keep everything closed. Okay, so here's the back side. So now what we've got is that ribbon coming out the bottom, and you can see the edge, and you can't really tell that there's an extra piece of cardstock there. I love this. So that's what that is. And then we're going to build the waterfall that goes on top of that. So the waterfall, you're going to make 3 of these total, and this will take 3 pieces that are 10.5 by 6, 3 pieces that are 9.5 by 6, and 3 pieces that are 8.5 by 6. This is the waterfall that is stacked, so it's really easy to put together, and it works like every time. I love it. So once you get your pieces, the 10.5 by 6, 9.5 by 6, and 8.5 by 6, you need 1 each of those for each waterfall. You're going to put them in your scoreboard, and you're going to score them all the same. You're going to put the long side at the top. This one happens to be the 8.5. You're going to score it 4, turn it, score it 4. And that's what you're going to do to all 3 pieces. This makes it super simple. These pages will be 4 by 6. So you can put a recipe card on them. You could put photos on them. 4, turn it, 4. Super easy. Then we're going to fold and burnish. This is the first time I think I've had time to really sit down and craft all week. It's been kind of a weird week, and it's been busy, and Halloween and everything else. So I have spent all day trying to get this going for you guys, and I'm hoping that it won't be too long. I'll have this all edited and published real soon. So I hope you like it, and I feel bad that it's taken me so long to play with it, because I know I bought this a while ago. So I apologize. So I'm just trying to line this up, make sure everything's lined up right, and burnish all those scores. So these are basically spines. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 1/2-inch spacer from Country Craft Creations, and this makes this so easy to put down. It's ridiculous. So I got the bigger piece down first with the widest spine. So this is the 10.5 piece. And I'm going to take my spacer, and I'm just going to line that up right at that score line, and that's a 1/2 inch right there. I'm going to take the second piece with the second biggest spine. This is the 9.5 by 6 piece. And I'm just going to put glue on that spine piece, and we're just going to stack it. All right, so I've got the page folded, and I'm just going to put that right up against that. Come on, Michelle. Put it right up against that spacer that is right at the edge of that score line, and put that down, and that's going to give me that 1/2 inch gusset right there. Really easy way to put these together. And you got a 1/2 inch here. All right, then we open it up to the middle, and then that's where this is going to go. So we're going to do the same process. We're going to put that spacer there. We're going to put glue on our 1/2 inch spine here. This is like the simplest, easiest way. You are going to have so many places to put photos. All right. Easy, 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 easy. They're beautifully nice and straight. Make sure that you wipe up excess glue. That's the one thing. You don't want to glue where you don't want it, right? All right. And that is your waterfall. How simple is that? Love this method. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to, I've got a piece of pattern paper cut out. Now this is from the 6x6 paper pad, and I really liked the actual recipes that were there. That's going to go on the front. So I cut this at 5 7/8 by 3 7/8. But before we put that down, we're going to have to put our other piece of ribbon. Okay. So again, we're going to, Put some score tape down. Now this one, because it's not going to fold up, it's going to go towards the bottom. We don't need to put that extra piece of cardstock on there to secure it. Okay, we can just do it and it will go down towards the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to center this again. This ribbon is very, like, I don't know, it's very gossamer. It's very fragile. Okay, lay that down like so. This will go right on top of that. Did ink everything, so we'll just go ahead and glue that down. Uh-oh. Oh no. Try that again. Do over, right? Okay. So this... a lot of glue oozing out there. Okay. See if I can clean that up before it gets all over the place. And I squirted glue all over there. Good gravy, you guys. You're seeing me like in rare form today, aren't you? Good grief. All right. I think my problem is I'm hungry and I'm trying to get this done and then I'm going to eat. Maybe I should have eaten first. I don't know. All right, so there's my waterfall. So you can see how that's going to go, okay? So then grab your page. Okay, so this is the back of our page. Binding should be on the right-hand side. This is going to go at the top, and it's going to be 1/2 inch all the way around on the 4 sides, and then this will tie up, okay? So I'm just going to turn this over, and on that big wide spine, I'm not going to glue the bottom part because I want that to actually be a page. I'm going to put the glue here. Okay, and then you can use your ruler, you can eyeball it. If you use your ruler, you're just going to line it up at the edge of your page, and then 1/2 inch down, 1/2 inch in, like so. The other thing you can do is use 2 of your 1/2 inch spacers. You could put one there, and where's my other one? Right here. You can line them up and use it that way as well, okay? So the spacers, they're amazing. You guys, if you don't have them, you need to get them. They sell them at Country Craft Creations. They are amazing, and I love them. And I will put a link down below because you guys need to try those if you don't have them. They're great. All right, so there's that, okay? So then once you get this page done, now as far as decorating goes, you can do a lot of stuff down here too. You can add an additional pocket. You can add photo mat space, but you've got all of these pages for pictures and or recipes. So I just love the amount of space this gives. Okay. So then I'm just going to tie this in a simple bow. Okay. And I kind of like the fluffy bow, and it is a little stretchy. And then I'm going to kind of cut it off. You have to be kind of careful because, like I said, this is it feels fragile, you know. It's very delicate. Okay. I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to save those because I think I might use them for something. I was thinking about it. And then what I am going to do is I'm going to try to just kind of... you know, use my lighter on the edges of these, and you just have to be super careful. And I'm just getting it kind of close and just kind of lightly trying to go over it so that it won't fray. Another option is you can just tie a knot in the bottom if you want, however you'd like to do it, but that's that page, okay? So now that that is done, let's work on the pocket page, and then we are done. Put them in the book, and then we are done. So the pocket pages have a couple different pieces. So for the base page, you are going to need, again, we're going to make 3 of these. You're going to need 3 that are 7 3/8 by 8, and the 3 that are 7 1/2 by 9. Okay. So let's just deal with this first, and then we'll work on the pockets. The pockets are super easy to put together. So the base page that you are going to need is 7 3/4 by 8. With the 7 3/4 at the top, you're going to score at half, and you're going to score at 3/4. And that's it. We're going to build on everything else on this page. Okay. And then this is the pocket piece. So this piece is 7 1/2 by 9. So we're going to score on the 7 1/2 at half, and then turn it to the 9, score at half, and 8 1/2. Okay. And that's all you're going to do with that. So then we're going to do a little mitering on the pocket piece only, not on the base page, because we want to keep that one straight for adding to the book. Okay, so I'm cutting sharply through the corners and then just mitering the tops there. Then we'll fold and burnish. Okay. I need a bigger desk. Have I said that before? I think I have. All right, so this is going to lay down on our page and create that big side opening pocket, okay? Where you can put lots of fun things in. Okay, so there's that. So I'm gonna fold those two in underneath like that. This pocket will lay right on top like that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue that first tab down and then use the glue trick, or the tape trick, I should say. So I'm just gonna do that side piece first. That will end up being kind of the inside bottom of the pocket, I guess. I'm gonna put that all the way to the side, right to the edge there. I've got everything folded underneath. The binding piece folded underneath. Okay. And then we'll open it up and we'll make sure to wipe up any excess glue. Okay, and then we're going to put some tape down, okay? So grab your tape. Put that down just like that. Okay. Oh, come on. I got a fold. There we go. All right, so we're going to do that. I'm going to press that down, make sure it sticks. And then we'll just go ahead and glue the sides. New glue bottle. And it has some oomph in it. I love art glitter glue. I just ordered some more. Try and get some before it gets too cold to ship. All right. All right, so that is your pocket page right there, okay? So it has the side opening pocket. It's the front. Here's the binding piece here with our little give space, and there you go. So that's that. So then we're going to add the pockets to it, and these are really easy to do. The pockets that you'll need for the cardstock, you'll need 6 in total that are 8 by 5.5, and then 6 total that are 8 by 3. So you'll use 2 each on each of these pages, because it will have pockets on the front and the back. Okay, I tried to keep that kind of simple, since the other one was kind of a complicated page. And I've got the papers cut out, and I'll show you how I'm going to put those on. But for the papers, you will need 2 pieces of each size for each of these pages. And so on the 8-inch side, what you're going to do is score at half and at 7.5, and then turn it. And on the short side, we'll score at half. Okay, so do that for both the smaller pieces and then for the larger pieces. So again, on the longer side, score at half, and 7.5, turn it, score at half. Okay, so you have 2 of those sets. All right, so then we're going to miter everything just like we've been doing all the other little pockets, sharp through the corners like a 45-degree angle, and then miter the tops like so. Okay. All right, this is the last one that I'm mitering, and then we're going to fold and burnish. Okay, so I'm just going to do that to all of the pockets. All right, all of my pockets are folded and ready to go. So I'm going to take one of the big ones and one of the little ones. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put glue on the bottom tab of the little pocket. And we're going to glue it right on top of the bigger pocket. Okay. So making sure that our tab is at the bottom. Okay. So the bottoms of the pockets are going to get glued together. We're just going to glue that right on top. We're just going to stack it. All right. Now wipe up any glue, open it up, burnish that down really well. Okay, and then you guessed it, we're going to put a little bit of tape over top of that. So I'm just going to put that down, burnish that down, and then that way nothing that goes in the pockets are going to stick. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm also not going to put pattern paper all the way down, because I wanted to conserve my paper since I didn't have as much. So I'm going to show you how I cut the pattern paper here for these pockets here in just a second. All right. So then I'm just going to glue the tabs and glue that up. All right. Okay. So now I have that. All right. So we're going to do the same thing with this piece. We're going to grab our page, and what we're going to do is we're going to put one of these on this side and flip it over, and one on the other side. Okay, they're both going to be the same. So I'm going to just take glue again, bottom of the big pocket now, right? Because that's going to go on the page. And then I'm going to just stack it right on top. This is going to be quite a thick page once we get everything put on it, just like the other one. Okay, so I'm seeing a little glue seeping out, but I wipe that up, and then I'm going to open this up nice and gentle, and I'm going to glue that, or burnish that down. Okay, and then again, I'm going to put tape on here, okay, on that bottom tab, so that whatever I stick in there won't get hung up on that tab. Okay. Okay, then once you do that, then you're going to just glue that side up, and then that's going to just create your stack pocket. Pretty easy peasy. Now, if you want to get fancy and do any edge punching or anything, you know, you totally can do that too. I didn't do it on the bigger pockets, but you could do all kinds of fun stuff. Okay. Okay. So that's that. So that's the front page, front of the page. So here's the binding, and then you have this big pocket here, and then you have a smaller pocket here. So you have the stacked pocket. So I'm going to repeat that on the other side. But before I do, I'm going to show you about the pattern paper. So I cut for the front of this page. So well, this isn't probably going to help, is it? It's not going to help. Okay. So what I did And this, actually, the last page ended up being scraps because I did not have enough of the solid pattern paper to do. So what that meant was that when I used the pattern paper for the pockets and the other pages, they were from the same piece of paper. So I just reversed the papers. Okay. So if you can imagine that. But this one, I was trying to use some scraps because I was getting down to it and I didn't have enough. So what I did was I cut a strip from the pattern papers. That was, if you want to do it the way I did it, that was 6 7/8 inch wide. And then from that, what I started was at the bottom, and I cut a piece that was 2 3/8. That's going to be for the bottom pocket. Then I cut a piece that was 3 inches and a piece that was 3.5 inches. Okay. So again, 2 3/8, which covers the bottom pocket, 3 inches, which goes in the middle pocket, and then this goes in the top pocket. And then what I did was, if you pretend that this is all one paper, I just reversed it and used, you know, just to make it different. And on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing, but I kind of reversed it. So I did, like, you know, patterns and more of a solid in the middle. And then on the opposite side, I did solids and then more of a pattern in the middle. I hope that makes sense. So, but like I said, these were scraps that I did that with. So then what you're going to do is we're going to take our smaller piece, goes on the bottom pocket, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it to the side so I can see. So the middle section was 3 inches, and I did it 3 inches so that it would go inside the pocket just a little bit. Okay, so about 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to sneak that into the pocket. It'll cover the tops of the tabs on the sides. And then I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to measure it, or not measure it, but lay it down so where it has a nice border of the black cardstock. And I'm going to hold that down, lift it up, and then I'm going to glue that. But this saved me some paper because, like I said, I was running out. I only had, you know, so much. But I was able to do this whole book with 1 pack of pattern paper and then 1 pack of coordinating. So that was good. So this one's going to tuck underneath about 1/2 inch as well. So this one is 3.5 inches. Okay. So again, I'm going to ease that into the pocket. And then I'm going to line that up. And then where I want it. Like so. And then I'm going to lift it up and glue it down. So that's how I covered these pockets. So I did all of the pocket pages like this. But the other ones, whoops, that slipped a little bit. The other ones were cut out of 1 piece of pattern paper. And these I had to kind of piecemeal together. But you could mix and match. You could use the same paper. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so there's that pocket page. So then I'm just going to repeat it on this side, and then I will be right back. All right, so I finished the back pocket. So it's the same as the front, obviously different papers, but you have the pocket here, you have a big middle pocket here, and then you have the pocket here and pocket here. Okay, so that's the last of the pages. This is page number 6. So let's grab our book. Let's add these pages to the book, and then we'll talk about how I add them, and we'll be done, and that's the end of the tutorial. 6 pages, there's going to be a 1/2 inch gusset in between the covers and the pages. So we're going to start a 1/2 inch in from the edge. So there's a couple ways you can do this, and honestly, my ruler is really hard to see through sometimes, so I have a hard time sometimes seeing it. I'm going to use my grid just so I can kind of visualize where my chipboard is on my spine, because I want to, you know, make sure that I start where my spine is. So I'm going to just kind of line that up on a black line so I can kind of see where it is. Then I can use my ruler, and that'll help me kind of see where things are. And then what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to draw a pencil line kind of here, and that'll give me kind of a guide. So I have a 1/2 inch between where my spine actually starts and where I want to start laying down my pages, okay? And then when you lay your pages down, we're going to glue only on that 1/2 inch. We're not going to glue on that 1/4 inch, okay? So you want to make sure those are folded down. Now we're going to do 5 of them this way, and then the last page we're going to do a little different. So we're going to lay this down. It will glue right here, and it'll be about a 1/4 inch from the bottom, all right? So that's what we're going to do, okay? So pretty easy peasy. This is the L hinge. I love this hinge. I've never had any problems with this coming apart, no matter how much I load my pages. It has been a great binding for me. So I do hope that you try it out. Works really well. Okay, so I just put glue on that 1/2 inch, not on the 1/4 inch. And I'm going to kind of eyeball this top and bottom. But I'm just laying that right up against the pencil line. It's about a 1/4 inch up. All right, and then again, wipe up your glue. Make sure that you don't get glue where you don't want it, okay? And we're gonna lay that down, okay? See how pretty that is? And you're gonna have a nice border of your spine paper right there. I will add some paper to the 1/2 inch gussets, so I will cut it at 3/8 of an inch by 7 7/8 because it's an 8-inch tall page. So then you'll have a really pretty border of a 1/4 inch of black with the give space, but then we'll cover up that 1/2 inch piece that binds it to the spine, okay? And I don't usually cover the 1/4 inches because I am not in the mood to cut a bunch of 1/8 inch pieces of paper. I'm just not going to do it. So how's that? Okay, so the next page is my pocket page. So they alternate between like the gatefold waterfall page and then the pocket page. Okay, I'm just going to butt that 1/2 inch right up against it. Okay, the 1/4 inch is right there. There's my 1/2 inch. Just be careful. Wipe up your glue. You don't want it gluing anything you don't want it glued to. Okay, that'll just go right up against that tab that we just laid down. Okay, and that's how you do it. And it's really easy. And again, I've never had any problems. I do use art glitter glue. I do not use score tape for this. Score tape never dries. So it can, over time, kind of peel apart. I have had that happen with some other projects. So for this, I will use my glue. Because once this art glitter glue is dry, it is going nowhere. Okay, so this is my next page with all of the flaps and the waterfall. And again, I'm just buttoning that right up against. Okay. Give art glitter glue a second to, you know, kind of catch. But it does give you a second to move things around if you need to squish it up against something. Okay. Look how pretty that is. I mean, that's just gorgeous. It works so good. It just works so good. So the next page is the pocket page again. Page number 4. All right, so again, just on the 1/2 inch, right up against that page prior. Make sure everything's lined up and it's butted right up against it so it's nice and straight. Like so. Okay. Looking good. It's looking good. I love this. All right. So then the next page is the other pocket page. I still have to glue those papers down, but you get the idea of where they're going to go. This one's going to go here, right? Oh, what's catching on that? That is. Okay, there we go. That'll glue right down. So put that there. I'm going to put glue on And that's the other reason why you do not want to miter your pages, so that you have that nice straight edge. Okay. There we go. Pushing that up. That 1/4 inch also gives you another little extra place to kind of press it down too on this side, which is nice. So I do like that part as well. And then I'm really, when I use my finger and the cloth, I'm really putting some pressure on these pages. You know, it's almost like I'm using my finger as a bone folder, trying to really press that down. Okay, so now the last page. So you can see where we're at. Now, if we put the last page down the same way, what you're going to end up having is black cardstock right there, and you're going to cover up that beautiful paper. Okay, so if you look at the front, you have that beautiful spine paper showing. You want the same thing on the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to lay this 1/2 inch tab right on top of the 1/2 inch tab of the page prior to it. And then that way, when the page turns, you have that pretty spine showing. Okay, so that's the only difference with this particular way of putting the pages in, is that you have to do the last page last, or you have to do the last page opposite. Okay, so instead of putting glue here and gluing it down that way, we're going to put glue on the other side, okay, right here on the back, and then just lay that down just like that. Okay, so I'm going to put glue on the back side of that hinge. Like so. And I'm just going to lay that right on top of the other 1/2 inch score. And that's what I'm going to do. I don't know where that kind of white part came from on my hinge part there, but I'm going to cover it up with pattern paper, so it's going to be all right. All right, I'm just going to be careful, and I'm going to fold that down. Okay, like so. And we are done. So our book is done. There it is. So we have 6 pages. It's chock full, but you could see that there is lots of room to add pages. And this will tie to the front and create a pretty little bow. All right. For our Baking Queen album. We're going to have a few little strands to cut off, but pretty soon that'll mellow out. So that is the tutorial, you guys. I hope you like it. We went through the walkthrough at the beginning of the video, so you've seen all the decorations, but that's how I made this book. It's a simple design, but it does have a lot of space. I do love the fact that there are so many different pockets and things, you know, places to put your recipes and your pictures. And I could just see, like, you know, grandma's favorite recipes and pictures of the grandkids, you know, pictures of family dinners with recipes. You know, it is baking themed, so, you know, grandmas like to bake. So maybe there's a lot of beautiful, you know, recipes that you want to save and keep and give to your grandkids or whatever. So I just think this book is really gorgeous. And I think that all of the things that I was able to get out of my Country Craft Creations stash will look fantastic in this book. So yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please, please, please ask. I'm always available to answer questions, and I'll try to make sure that your book is a success. I want everyone to have fun and create a really beautiful piece that will be a family heirloom for forever. So thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to visit Country Craft Creations at countrycraftcreations.com to get your supplies. Don't forget to check out the Scrapbookers page. Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations is a phenomenal Facebook community, and if you're not a part of it, go check it out because you will love it. You will love it. All of our designers do posts all the time and share our tutorials, and there's all kinds of fun stuff that we do. And there's information down below on how to get involved if you're not. And so anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you again soon with more tutorials. Stay crafty. Bye-bye.